Okay, guys, welcome back to the BMS podcast. It is your host, Odun Ayo. It's been a long time. A lot of you guys have been asking me, Miriam, where have you been? Oh, Odun, where have you been? Like, why are you not recording? Or like, what's been going on? A lot actually. A lot has been going on. But I think the main thing for me is that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I have shot a few episodes in the past, but like because I've moved from the studio to my house, I just want the quality to be the best quality. Like I just don't want to put out something. I don't know, maybe it's an issue. Maybe I'm just a perfectionist. But today I wanted to talk about the whole Burnaboy and Sophie saga. But I just wanted to ask, have you ever been promised something by a guy that you didn't even ask for? Like he just says, you know what, I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna get this for you, I'm gonna do that for you. And it's like, okay, you didn't ask, you're appreciative of it, but you expect it, right? Expect it because you have been promised this thing. So when it's time for them to deliver, it's like bloody crickets. Let me just start by saying that Burnaboy is a bird collector. Like, who remembers Joe Pearl? She came out, she was talking about Burnaboy was dating her the same time he was dating Steph London, and he didn't want to be seen with her publicly. And my thing is this year, Joe Pearl is bad. Like, she's one of the baddest girls. You know, she has a nice body. She has a pretty face. But he did not want to be seen with her. He wanted to be seen with Steph, right? And my thing is this, yeah, like Joe Pearl, she's not particularly in the media, right? Not that she's anything or like any of these ladies are better than her or anything like that, but I just feel like because Joe Pearl is not in the media, she doesn't have as much access or exposure compared to Steph. Like he wanted to be with Steph because it made him feel more like a man having the woman that a lot of men want. And I think that's the issue with Burna Boy. It's like he goes after these women that are high profile, that have a lot of access and are in a class where they're out of the league of a lot of men. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like he goes after women that are out of a lot of men's league. That is like, okay, you know what? I'm the man. I can get these women, and I feel like that's why he chases these women. It's essentially to get validation from other men. Like even the whole freestyle that he did, it's like almost like he was bragging about not being able to fulfill his promise to the lady. It's really about the status of these women. Like every time there's a new scandal in regards to Burna Boy and a lady, they always pull out his collection of women, and they're always like, oh, look at Burna Boy's catalog. And it's almost like a thing of pride, I guess, because a lot of men want these women and he's had them. And it's just like, I feel like Chloe needs to get the fuck away from this man, because if he does go after these women and contribute something to them, like I'll understand. Like Joe Pearl became more successful, I guess, because nobody knew her before then, and obviously she has a banging body. But I just feel like when Burna was with Steph, there was no feature, no collaboration. Like I feel like if anything, it elevated his career. Not that he wasn't doing his own thing, but elevated his career because naturally, celebrity relationships will elevate your career, give you more exposure. But I just feel like he went higher and Steph has not really been doing well. Like obviously she released her album, like she's still like the top, I guess, rapper in the UK. But I just feel like in comparison to Burna Boy, the relationship did more for him than it did for her. Also, like what's Halle Bailey and what's the other guy that she had a baby with. It's like, yes, he was successful in his own right, but he started attending like shows like the Grammys or like just being seen in certain spaces, getting on the shade room more often because of the woman that he was dating. It's like he doesn't love these women, he doesn't care for them, he just wants to be seen with them. And I just feel like Chloe needs to get the fuck out of there, because really and truly he has nothing to give to her other than attach her name to some mess. Like Steph London was literally in a public relationship with him when Joe Pearl came out to talk about him, you know, sleeping with her multiple times, or like them being in a relationship while he was in a relationship with Steph. And I just feel like that's crazy to me. At the very least, if you're going to be with a woman that everybody wants and you're going to be in a public relationship, respect the relationship or just don't be in it. Like he wanted the incomparable, the unattainable, the successful woman. Like, that's the woman that he wants to be seen with. It's 2025, right? We need to stop pretending like being with an attractive, successful woman does not add to your social currency. Like, it is a form of social currency. I've been like with an ex, right? And guys would come up and spud him because they thought I was attractive. Meanwhile, he contributed nothing to this. Like, this is all me, but they will walk up to him and spud him because he's with a woman that's attractive, right? And it used to irritate me because I'm like, you had nothing to do with this. But at the same time, he wanted us to go out more often. Like, he wanted to be seen with me, and just asked me to go to places that like I didn't really want to go because he knew the people that were there, and he wanted to get some, I guess, street cred because he was an attractive woman. They pull his list of exes like his trophies. Like, he won something. He won a bunch of things with these women that he's with. Like, it's almost like a resume of masculinity. And let's be real, Burna could have settled with Shukura or Moyalamala. But no, he wanted Sophie, a woman that's really attractive. He was calling around, apparently from the voice note, he was calling around looking for her, and she met with him a couple of times. She didn't really want anything to do with him. So it's like she, on his own, she had rejected him, right? So he kept applying pressure, trying to act like that guy, and even promising her something that he was not planning to get, just so that he could get with her. And it's like now she's been added to the trophy or the collection of women that he's been with. So that's what I mean by he's a bird collector. Like, he wants to get with these women and 9 times out of 10 not do much for them, but be seen with them, and I guess it boosts his ego. Like, he could have been with a woman that appreciated a Honda Civic, but no, it's a Lamborghini. It's the one that wants Lamborghini that he's looking for. With your status, with your money, with the caliber of women that you're surrounded by, you still had to lie to get some pussy. And I just feel like that is so low. Because at the end of the day, he's Burnaboy. He has access to a lot of women. Like, he has access to a lot of women that are not of a certain status or not of a certain caliber. But he goes after these specific women that would expect a lot from him, even to the point of lying and scheming to get the woman. Let's not forget, yeah, like, Burnaboy allegedly shut up a club because a woman rejected his proposal. Like, she was trying to move to a girl in the club apparently, and she was with her boyfriend allegedly, and she rejected him. She was not responding to him, and he basically like shut up the club. Like, do you know how crazy that is? The fact that he couldn't even handle rejection of a regular woman. And it's just like, yes, he's Burnaboy, but I feel like he's a prime example of the fact that money does not unlame a man. He's been paying for sex before he became famous. He's been alleged to shoot up a club because a woman rejected him. So this is not far-fetched that he's gone as far as promising a woman something that he was not willing to give to her just so he can get in her pants. This is supposed to be African giants like Odogu, and to get with a woman, you're lying about what you can or cannot do. I think that's just a new level of low. And I feel like the men that are laughing at this, yeah, are the same men that talk about women are being more promiscuous and selling their bodies, but then they also fail to address the men that reward their promiscuity. This is not the first time it's come out that Burnaboy has actually paid a woman, and this was before he even became famous. Like, the lady came out the other day talking about, oh, she was dating Burnaboy, and he came out to say that, oh, he paid her 20K to have sex with her. And I'm just like, a lot of men will talk about women being promiscuous. It's like they talk about there's no role models for women. But at the same time, what kind of role model is Burnaboy? And in the same context, I feel like there is this humble her agenda where, like, not just with Burnaboy, it happens with regular men too. It's like, especially the men who place a high value on masculinity, on patriarchy and gender roles but can't actually live up to them. So in the hierarchy of patriarchy, they're at the bottom, like the men that don't have much money, or the men that talk about gender roles but they cannot actually live up to the responsibility that comes with gender roles. There's almost a lot of like they feel small because you prioritize gender roles, you prioritize like women being nurturing and taking care of the family, whatnot, but these times you cannot provide the way a provider should. So I feel like in a way it makes them feel small, and it's almost like they have to exert some sort of performance of masculinity just so that they can feel more like men. Because if you're talking about you want your woman to be able to cook and clean and da 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 da, but you cannot afford to actually put her in the position where she doesn't have to worry about finances and she can fully be the she can fully play the role of her gender, then of course you're gonna feel small, because what I want, I cannot afford to get it. Like the man I want to be, I cannot be that man. So they sort of perform as the man. And like they talk about women, selling their bodies. And I feel like at the bottom of it, it's just because they cannot afford those women. Because a lot of men say these things, but these times you are working hard to become a sugar daddy, but complain about women that have sugar daddies. Like you're working hard to be able to spoil women, get them whatever they want, but you're complaining about the women that are getting whatever they want from the men that can actually afford to give them whatever they want. So what's the hypocrisy about? And I just feel like as much as we talk about women that are selling their bodies, these are the men that we could also be talking to or talking about, and just highlighting how they are such a negative influence or negative role models for boys. And I think one of the main things was the fact that, like, if she was with her boyfriend, clearly it was not going to be his, and she loved her boyfriend, his Lamborghini was not going to do anything for him. Or promising her anything or monetary was not going to do anything for him, because it's about love, right? She's with her man. So his ego could not handle the rejection. His boys were there. So he had to do something to exert some level of like performance of masculinity just so he could feel like a man. And I just feel like that is so pathetic. Just think about it. A man with money, fame, status, and is still so fragile that a simple no could send him into a violent rage, or to get him to overpromise something that he did not plan to deliver. Like he has it all. Like he has it all, but he's still essentially throwing tantrums because a woman doesn't want him. Like apparently he was calling her like here and there. He was chasing this woman down only to promise her something that he could not deliver. And I just feel like it really happens with men that are insecure. And it could be something as simple as moving furniture, or like buying a cake or picking up a cake, or it's just something simple. And it's like they would promise you something and they just would not deliver. Like, why do men do that? Like, why? Once upon a time, I wanted to rent an apartment, and I showed it to my brother. I'm like, oh, look at the apartment I wanted to rent. He's like, oh, it's quite small. Get a bigger one. Get a 2-bedroom, actually. Get one with mum, and I'll pay for it. And I was like, I mean, because I like to just do the stuff that I can afford. But he was like, you know what? Like, I've got you. Like, I'll pay for it. Just do what you got to do. Send me the form or whatever it is, like, when it's ready. I'm like, all right, bet. you know? So I start looking now. It's time for him to fill out the application. Initially, he said he couldn't see the email. I asked the estate agent to CC me, send him the email, and also attach my name to it, if you don't know what CC means. Anyway, so now it's confirmed that he got the email. Now he's calling me up. He's talking about, oh, well, are you sure you can afford your bit? Like, have you really thought this through? And he's talking to me like I'm a criminal. Like, did I ask you? Did I ask you to help me out, or did you offer? And now that it's time to make good on your word, which is what is the pinnacle of being a man, you're talking to me like I've owed you money before. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's so disgusting. It's such a disgusting behavior, because you really could have just kept your mouth shut. You really could have just kept your mouth shut. You could have just shut the fuck up. But no, you're promising me something that you clearly cannot deliver. And now when it's time to actually put your words into action, you're giving me bullshit. And can we also talk about the fact that it's the men who actually patronize these women that have the most to say about them publicly? It's almost like the same way like men that in the closet chat so much about gay men. It's like, why do you care so much? Like, this is not about your sister because you know what your sister's doing at home. This is not about the young women. You don't care. Let's be real. You just care about the fact that your money is going to these women. And so I guess maybe you feel shameful about it, but you always, I had the opportunity to see a bank statement of someone that's so vocal about these OnlyFans models and whatever. Why do I see that he actually has an OnlyFans account? It's like you have so much to say about women that do OnlyFans, yet you've been exposed. You actually have an OnlyFans account. What are you doing there? It's like, oh, well, it was just one time. What are you doing there? What are you doing there? Let's be honest. If you're not, because I've never been on the website before. I have no business on OnlyFans. But if you're not on the website, if you haven't seen the content on the website, why do you care? Like, why do you care? And it's like, if you really hate the idea of women selling sex so much, chat to your boys. Men literally creates the market. Like, New Look is shutting down because there are no customers. If men stop patronizing sex workers, there would be no sex workers. I just heard a sound. I'm home alone. Okay. It's just hypocritical for men to just go on and on about women doing sex work. Like, it's crazy because men would literally, they would pay to be degraded by women. They would pay to be spat on. They would pay to lick women's feet. They would pay for feet pictures, to shit in a woman's mouth. But you want to talk about sex workers and you want to focus on women. Like, how dare society chastise women for participating in a market that men are the biggest investors, a market that men created. Like, all of a sudden, like, you're seeing people talk about, oh, selling feet pics for thousands of you talk about women being promiscuous, but you're always rewarding the promiscuous women. Like, it does not make any sense. It really does not make any sense. If you really want sex work to stop, chat to your boys, your fathers, your uncles, your brothers, your friends. Talk to them about stopping sex work, because if there's nobody paying these sex workers, best believe they're going to go back to working at Asda or whatever job they had before. Like, they're going to go back to regular jobs if your boys are not patronizing them. Like, you guys are the biggest investors of sex work, yet you talk about sex workers as if it's just some alien society that you're not participating in. Like, it really could be any of you watching this, paying for sex but still acting like sex workers are so beneath you. Like, we've seen it time and time again. The most talked about women, or the most women that people talk about are promiscuous or whatever, they get rewarded for it. They're the ones getting the Gucci bag. They're the ones getting the thousands of subscribers. They're the ones getting all the likes. But you pretend as if you're not causing, like, you have no say, you have no effect. Like, it's not you, right? It's not you doing it. It's not you and your boys patronizing these women, giving them attention, which in this world, attention is currency. So if you're telling women that you want women to be less promiscuous, to be more homely, if you're just talking about women just being more for it being more acceptable to date women, then you cannot deny your contribution to the kind of women that we have in society today. You cannot deny that. Like, it's so bummy to just state all of these things and act like there's nothing you can do about it, because you can do something about it. It's to start. People talk about, oh, you like your women fully dressed, da, 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 da. But look at your follows, look at your likes, look at the women that you're giving attention to, which I've already said, attention is currency. So if you're giving your attention to these women, lining their pockets, taking them out, these women are also getting married, right? They're living their best lives, and you still want to pretend as if you have no way, or like you're not impacting these movements. Like, back to the whole idea of like empty promises, right? I just feel like it's so jarring when somebody just puts your hopes, or like just increases your hopes of something, right? Something that in regards to my whole brother's situation, like something that you did not plan on before, something you really cut your coat to your size. Somebody tells you to get a bigger coat size, they're gonna pay for it. You're dreaming about, like, I could smell myself in the apartment. I could visualize how I was gonna set things up, right? Because my brother had promised me. But now that it's time, it's like they just build up your hopes and your dreams and they shatter it because you really could have just kept your mouth shut. I just feel like that's just one thing that I can't get over. Like, why? Like, why? Why are you like this? I remember on, was it Twitter, there was this video of a woman that was pretending to call her dad because she had asked her husband a couple of times to fix the furniture in the kids' room, right? And she was pretending to call her dad in front of her husband to come and fix the furniture because she's told her husband multiple times and he was not getting up to fix the furniture. And it's just like, why does it have to take that to get you to do something? Because men always talk about wanting to feel needed by women, right? Like, or women act like they don't need men, they can do everything by themselves. But why does it have to take, being needed comes with the responsibility of being present, of being able to be relied upon. Like, if you want to feel needed, you should always come through. Because how would I put myself in a position to need somebody that is flaky? And it's crazy because in the same breath, I've actually been told by another guy that I act a bit masculine. And the truth is, in terms of like the idea of women taking on the roles of men, if in fact men are not stepping up, like, it totally makes sense. Like I said, this was something to do with my brother. And it's like, it's not just like, it happens with fathers as well. Like, when you're consistently being disappointed by men that say they're going to do something that they don't do, you tend not just you tend to become the one just doing the shit, like, by yourself, or relying on your girlfriends to actually take care of you. And I just feel like it's a bit hypocritical for men to talk about being needed by women and wanting women to respect them as, like, or expect them to provide and all those things. But at the same time, you're making a mockery of a situation where a man has promised somebody something and not fulfilled his promises. It's like, these are the men that we're supposed to be relying on. These are the men that they're supposed to be supporting us. It's like, you really, and the thing is, it's one thing for you to be asked something and not deliver, but it's another thing for you to promise something, not even be asked, to make promises out of your own mouth, of your own volition, and not come through. Like, is it not like a man's code to keep your word? Like, is that not standard code for men to do what you say you're gonna do? Like, are we in an alternate universe or something? Because they always want to talk about men or women not being accountable, or women not understanding accountability. I feel like this is a clear example of men not taking accountability for the things that they do. Like, you can't see women as one way, or just not being able to take accountability for something, but you're not taking accountability of the fact that men disappoint a lot. Men pay for sex work and they're contributing to the whole society as it is. The way women are as they are. Like, if women want something and they see that this is what is getting them that thing, A plus B, like, it's not A plus B, but 1 plus 2, like 2 plus 2 is simple math. If you keep rewarding women for doing the things that you claim you don't want them to do, more women are going to be doing that thing. Like, that's on our accountability. Like, let's keep it real. Either way, with the apartment, I'm a smart girl, right? Yes, they might call me masculine, but I'm not taking chances. Like, if I really want something, I usually have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. My worst case scenario has a contingency. So in the case of the apartment or whatever it is that I've needed, I've always been able to get things for myself. I've always been able to come through for myself. So yeah, and I feel like a lot of women are in that position where they just feel like they cannot rely on men, or they cannot rely on the words of men, because you guys like to lie unprovoked. Like, lying is even one thing. Overpromising is another thing entirely. So yeah, anyway, Let me know, like, have you ever been overpromised by a guy for him to just deliver nothing, or just to be promised something out of the blue by a guy that could have just kept his mouth shut and he didn't deliver? Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on the whole Burnaboy situation, and Sophie, and what you think about men that just perform masculinity, and can't. I just not that guy. They just aren't that guy. They just aren't him. So they perform as him. But yeah, I've come to the end of this episode. I'm so glad to be doing this again. I expect everything to be consistent from now on. And soon enough, I'll be having a more semi-permanent guest joining us. I feel like I should give an explanation of what happened with Okpeyemi. Even though Okpe has said multiple times that he was going to be focusing on himself, Okpeyemi has fallen in love. Oh, he doesn't have our time anymore. So on his behalf, I'm saying goodbye to BMS on Okpeyemi's behalf, because Okpeyemi, he has lost concentration in Yash. But yeah, he's fallen in love, and he's the love has taken him away from the podcast. So all the best. Yeah, it's gonna be me now, and soon enough I'll be introducing a new guest. So I can't wait. Till the next episode is your host Odonayo with love. I'm signing out. Bye.